Well, where to begin to this interview? Well, first of all, I want to take this time, and of course, I'll say it in the intro and outro. But King Rocco, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy life to come join us today on Aaron's Opinion. I tremendously appreciate it. So,
It's my
let's
pleasure.
let's dig right in. I really want you can take this interview, we can we can jump into the conversation in any direction or fashion, but let's get into what I think the listener will find to be the most interesting, which is the whole history and concepts behind United Vision Connect UVC radio and how you got into all of that. Let's go from there and then we'll go anywhere else. Go for it.
All right, awesome, awesome. All right, I'm gonna try the best way I can. I hope everybody definitely able to grasp something from this. All right, first of all, well, UVC, as you rightly said, mean United Vision Connect. It's a it's an international organization for persons who are blind and visually impaired, and we don't discriminate anybody. I mean, even though you are differently able, we still accept everyone. Um, UVC actually started, I think, sometime early 2020, where we actually started in 2019 as Vision Connect, and then gradually, we were growing and stuff like that. And one day, I just wake up spontaneously and decide, you know what? Instead of Vision Connect, um, we got people literally from every nook and cranny of the world, except Antarctica. Why just not change the name from Vision Connect to United Vision Connect? Meaning we're a kaleidoscope of people. We're we are united. I mean, we're together because we all know. I mean, the main fact, bringing persons who are differently able, especially predominantly the blind and visually impaired, is like you going down to Vegas and rolling them dice. Ain't nothing easy. You know what I'm saying? So the main fact we could able to actually do that, and by bringing these individuals together, it speaks really, really volume. Um, some of the stuff with UVC that we've been doing, we try to reach out to individual all across the globe. We're not in a situation financially whereby we can able to help people in financial situations. So sometimes we put ourselves out of the way, whereby sometime and look in the best of interest for individuals who are blind and visually impaired. As I said, also persons who are differently able. Um, Especially with the old COVID thing started from 2020, even right now. Um, there's a lot of people who are literally down under. I want to say down under, they hit rock bottom, struggling with depression, struggling with so many issues in terms of self worth, you know, because of the whole unemployment thing psychologically, they kind of been screwed up as well too. And we try to counsel them, we try to be there for them and stuff like that. In any possible way, shape, or form that we can able to make that individual life a little bit easier and happy. We tried our utmost best to do so. Starting last year, April to June or July, we started a pilot program whereby um, myself, we got this guy John Lee from Durham, North Carolina, and Gary Comer from Durham, North Carolina as well too. We actually started a program whereby we can able to help persons who are differently able and predominantly the blind have some form of independence in terms of like because like from last year, this whole thing with a lot of people start working from home and stuff like that. Basically, we were helping them with technology, Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel, Microsoft Word, and stuff like that, just in case, they're trying to reach out to the job market out there and able to get themselves a job. At least they can be quite computer savvy, that they can able to push themselves forward and stuff like that. So this is just some of the basic stuff with UV with United Vision Connect. Likewise, Also, we are into podcasting. For 2 years now, we actually been doing podcasting. And one of the main thing for our podcast, what we actually were doing, we actually still do it, but we just kind of put it in a pause for the time being because there's just been so many other stuff, we try to focus on as well too. Um, the main focus for the podcast is basically to motivate each other because perhaps maybe someone may going through some horrible time in life and they're listening to that individual um, story and situation and stuff like that. And they can basically take whatever it is that I am going through, as a motivation. Like, you know what? Hey, if Rocco have done it in his life, and look how his life has changed. You know what I'm saying? I can have a turnaround in my life. If he can do it, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of the main driving force for our podcast to help people along the way in the day-to-day life to show you, despite your current situation, no matter in the world, wherever you are from and stuff like that, life ain't over. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. You know what I'm saying? And also with UVC Radio, last year, May, myself and Gary Cameron, um, you know, we were talking about um, doing something extra in terms of bringing people together. And, this is something that we actually talked about way back in 2019 before this whole pandemic. And I consider myself, you know what? Let us start our own radio. And one of the things he said to me, but if we start our radio, what can we do? And I said to him, you know what? We have the resource. And you know what is the resource? Our people is the resource. Don't worry. Let's get it on the ground. And I'm sure as soon as we get it on the ground, you're going to surprise to see how things going to start happening. And, we spent a lot of time putting this whole project together and stuff like that. And gradually things start to grow. I mean, we start getting individuals from all across the globe been coming to us and say, you know what, hey guys, I really admire what you guys are doing. And I would like to be a part of this whole project, what you guys are doing. And this was just basically like the whole confirmation. Hey, you know what I'm saying? They say hard work brings success. You know what I'm saying? And not only hard work, when you work smart, it brings success as well. And all these individuals start coming knocking on the door. We got broadcasters from South Africa, Nigeria, Portugal, the United Kingdom, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Guyana. You know what I'm saying? And it has been just going so marvelous. I mean, we actually have a full news team. We call them UVC Overseas Correspondent. Basically, they record the news stuff that is making headline in their respective country, send it in to us, we edit it, put it together as a news package and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It has been really, really tremendous. I mean, the feedback and stuff like that we are getting from people from literally all across the globe, it has been really, really, really tremendous. You know what I'm saying? There is always room for improvement. There is always more that we can do. But for the time being, for now, I mean, we like how things are going and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? One of our main objective currently right now is basically to alleviate unemployment across the world, especially for persons who are differently able. All right. Whereby these guys who are broadcasting for us, we can able to compensate them financially. This is one of the main thing. And so far, with this whole COVID thing and stuff like that, trying to get sponsors ain't nothing easy. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing easy at all trying to get sponsors right now. So this is one of our main thing. If we can able to get the funding, basically, to pay these individual that is working with us, I think it would be a great thing because a lot of these individual, they don't have a job. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a job. And you could imagine the main fact for a guy who's not working, that is something very, very difficult. They're working with us voluntarily and stuff like that. They're putting in everything that they got. They enjoy do what they're doing. But at the end of it, if you're putting 99% of you into something, you will definitely like to see something is coming back in the table, because a lot of these individuals, they got family, they got husbands, they got girlfriends, they got boyfriend, they got babies and stuff like that. So this is one of our main objectives right now, basically to reach out to these individuals financially, support them every form, every fashion, in every aspect in their lives. In whatever way we can able to bring the best out of this individual, that is all what we are trying to focus on. And likewise with UVC, back to UVC, um, we, I'm stressing on support, right? And support is always a big thing. As I said, anything that we're doing right now is coming from our own pockets. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting any financial aid from anybody at the moment to run this whole project. It's coming from us. And some of the most people in the world have been really affected with this whole pandemic. It's people in different part of the world, like in Africa, Central America, to the Caribbean to an extent, and stuff like that. And not only in broadcasting, in radio, because let's be clear on that. Not everybody gonna get into radio. Radio is not everybody's thing, you know what I'm saying? We want to start from scratch. In whatever way we can work along with international organization in respective countries, wherever it is in the world, whether on the African continent, on the Asian continent, Central, Latin America, or the Caribbean, or even in the United States, right? In whatever way we can able to bring and create some form of employment for these individuals, I think is always a good thing. And not only the employment. You know what they say with education? Education is the key, all right? Because if you don't have no form of education, literally you are nothing out there. We are looking in terms of providing scholarships for people. If anybody would like to go out there and study, you know what I'm saying, get an education, this is one of the other thing that we're actually looking into as well, to help persons to go back to school, provide an education for them and stuff like that. So these are just some of the basic stuff I would say for now that we're actually looking into. As we proceed with this interview, you are free to ask questions, and we're definitely going to take it from there.
Well, everything you've said so far, I absolutely adore. I absolutely love it. And thank you for educating me about the difference between UVC and UVC radio. There is a difference, and both are equally interesting and equally important.
UVC radio is just a part of the project.
Understood. It's just radio is just one thing, one great thing that you
Yes,
have. It's just
but
one.
UVC is bigger.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Exactly. And that's why it's so interesting. That's why you've captivated my interest. So let's
Mhm.
say, for example, and one of the most important. I mean, all of it's good, so I can't say the most important because it's all perfect, man. But
Absolutely, isn't it?
one of the things that I think that I'm seeing a lot of in my country here, in the States, is that we do have a lot of blind people who are not feeling so good and do need a lot of support. So, what types of support exactly? How would support work? What I mean is, let's say you get a call from Mr. Smith, and Mr. Smith is a blind person and he lives in, I don't know, um, Texas or something, and he lost his job and he's depressed and he needs someone to talk to. So how do you go about finding basically people who are willing, able, and motivated to provide appropriate counseling and to facilitate these conversations? Talk a little bit about that. I want to learn more about it a little bit, please.
Oh, okay, great question. Myself, we got um, Gary Cameron down there, Durham, North Carolina. We got Marilyn King down there in New York City, in Manhattan. We have some other persons likewise a part of us. Her name is Udley Wickham down there in Bridgetown, Barbados. We got this girl out of Guyana called Odessa Blair. She's a qualified psychologist as well, social worker, etc. So we have this individual on board. So there is a situation that anybody need any sort of counseling or motivation and stuff like that. I mean, if I'm not available, or yeah, if I'm not available, we can definitely reach out to this individual and line up this individual, whoever experiencing any sort of mental or issues or and stuff like or psychological issues and stuff like that. We definitely line them up with this individual, and this individual take it from there and work along with them.
I love that. That's really important, and that work is really, really needed. Um, that's that because the truth, as you have discovered, as you well as you know, is that a lot of times one of the reasons, one of the barriers to employment is how we feel about ourselves, our
Oh,
own
absolutely, isn't it?
and I think that's one of the, and it's not just a problem in St. Lucia. I hate to tell you this, but this is actually a
Mhm.
problem in every country.
Global. Yeah, in every country,
This is a
absolutely.
global thing.
It's a global thing.
It's worse in it is more profound in certain countries without a doubt, but this is a
Hmm.
problem in any, is that
Yes.
if you think you're the problem is that one of the things that has happened in the blindness community in every country is that a lot of blind people do not find work. And when you don't find work long enough, you think that you can't work. So
Low self-esteem. It's all about low self-esteem.
this is a huge problem that the public, not you, Rocco, but the public has completely, in my opinion, has overlooked this one factor. So I appreciate that. Now over
True.
to the radio department, which of course
Hmm.
captivates my interest as a podcaster and content creator. So
Awesome.
who
Hmm.
who is or what show on your station has really shocked you the most, or is quite frankly the most unusual in a great way? I mean, I'm pretty strange. I know that I'm the most unusual person you could ever talk to. But apart from Aaron Richards and Aaron's
Well,
opinion,
it's not a bad thing to be unusual sometimes.
well,
Sometimes it's
that's
good to
why
be
I'm unusual, because I know
different.
it's great. Rocco. I am as different as they could ever be. But who's the most?
And it's
Who's the
good to be
most?
different.
It is. It is. It is. And who's the most? The most. I guess. I
Sophisticated,
Yeah,
but
kind of the most. What's even the word in English? I can't even come up with a way to express the question. Like, what's the most
mhm.
ab- out there wow factor on any of your shows? The most unexpected or unpredictable show that you ever.
Man. Well, look, listen, man. We.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm gonna give I'm gonna give the list before I get to that. Get to your question for the listeners. I mean, currently, right now, we got a full schedule on our station. So bear with me here. Okay. On Monday evening, from 6 p.m. Eastern time to 8 p.m. Eastern time, you got myself and Wise Willie down there in Kingston, Jamaica, and Gary Cameron down there in North Carolina. We do a talk show called Tell It Like It Is. And when I say tell it like it is, you mean tell it like it is, straight out the book, you know what I'm saying? So we tell it that is from 6 to 8 every Monday. Um, on Wednesday, likewise, we have a program called Extra Straight Talk from 8 to 10 p.m. every Wednesday. I produce that show every Wednesday. This is with the Cool Cucumber and Sunshine in New York and Miss Sparkle down there in Barbados. We got the Ultimate Throwback Thursday on 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We got the Secret Garden from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Thursdays. On Fridays, we got the Fiery Zone with his brother out of the United Kingdom. He run a reggae program. He's a Rastafarian called Fonso Black, called the Fiery Zone. And so that's from 12 to 3. And from 3 to 5, we have a show called Tropical Delight with Terrific from out of Mauritius, basically focusing music from the islands, from the French Antilles, a lot of French Creole music and stuff like that. We got Level the Vibes with the musicologist, DJ Randy out of Mauritius from 6 to 8. And likewise, we got Friday Night Vibes from 9 to 11 on Friday with Gary Camera. His DJ name is DJ G Fire. And also, um, we got, I have a show on Saturday evening from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. called the Weekend Crazy Art Mix. That show is a lot of fire. I can guarantee you guys that, right? And also on Friday evening from 11 to 1 a.m. Should I even get into that right now? Before this is just for the benefit for our listeners. We're going to get into that just for the benefit for our listeners.
Don't let it escape. Get into it. What is it?
No, I'm not going to let it escape. All right. But I don't want anybody to take my head. I just want to make sure I cover everybody before. You know what I'm saying? And this is for the benefit for our listeners. On Wednesday as well, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we have the Bollywood Melody Explosion, where this blind professor from Dehradun, India. It's an Indian show, great show. That from 9 to 11. And also on Sunday, what we normally do, UVC is not a religious station, it's a secular station, but we dedicate Sunday predominantly for religious program. That is from 5 in the morning, Sunday morning until midnight. We got the Cool Cucumber with the afternoon praise from 3 to 5. We got G Fire with the Ultimate Praise Party from 5 to 7. We got Sonny Zurich, who is a blind human rights lawyer working with us as well. He's originally from Nigeria, but he's based in Lisbon, Portugal. He has a program called Sonny's Corner. So anybody need any counseling and advice and stuff like that, he's another guy basically persons can reach out to as well. And likewise, we have his wife. She's an evangelist. We call her a radio preacher. From 9 to 10 every Sunday morning, we have a program. It's a sermon, The Moment with Christ. So that basically cover on Sunday. And Sunday evening from 7 to 10, we have Wise Willie. That's Wilbert Williams. So for our listeners, anybody who will definitely like to connect and listen, this is the show called Memory Lane. We're going way back in the 1930s and 40s. Bring out all them whole music from the deep south in the United States. From back in all the holy goldies and country western. So anybody listening, y'all can definitely check it out. But it's one of the most wow show. All right, let's get to that. You know what it's to save? He said save the best for last as well, too. All right. On Friday night, we have Fantasy Freaky Friday. All right. So the Fantasy Freaky Friday show, this is a show basically, it's quite explicit. I mean, just name it, man. Anything and everything out of the books. It is raw. It is very, very, very raw. This is a late night show for people who enjoy listening to late night programs and stuff like that. Y'all can definitely check it out. And y'all can likewise visit us on our website on www.unitedvisionconnect.org/radio. That is www.unitedvisionconnect.org/radio. Or you guys can look us up on Facebook at UVC Radio, or you guys can definitely, for those of you who are using the Amazon Echo device, you guys can definitely speak to your Alexa device and say, hey, Alexa, enable UVC Radio. And you guys can definitely get us there. Also, we're also on the Simple Radio platform. For those of you who are using the Android device and the Apple device, you guys can download the Simple Radio or My Tuner. Yeah, that's the My Tuner Radio app or the Simple Radio app. And you guys can definitely, in the little search thing on the left, on the upper left corner, you guys can type UVC Radio and find us there as well too. So this is just a little bit about, as I said, about we said a wow show.
Excellent. Now, another area that I personally have an interest in, this one particular area too.
Go on, man.
What about the correspondence and this whole news aspect? That's really kind of up my alley of something that I would be interested in personally.
Oh, awesome.
What can you tell us about these news segments? What does it sound like? How do you organize that, and how, like, what do they do? How does it all work with the news broadcasting division, I guess?
Okay. Yes, indeed. We're going to get into that. As I said, I don't want anybody who will be listening to this podcast and stuff like that. Our broadcasters I don't want anybody to take my ad, but hey, I'm just human. Not everything I'm going to remember. So before I answer your question as well to Aaron, likewise, we have a program on Saturday called the Jamaican Connection. This is predominantly history and culture of Jamaica. That is from 4 Eastern, and we have an entertainment trail with this guy, Shaba Moschino. So I think I cover everybody. Please, guys, I won't forget any one of you. Love you guys. For any one of y'all listening to this podcast. All right. Okay. Great question, Aaron. On the correspondent aspect of it. Okay, great. We got the correspondence, as I rightly said to you in the beginning of the program, all across the globe. And all these correspondents, they all are blind and visually impaired individual. So what they do, they're going to go on the computer or whatever device they're using. They're going to read the news, whatever it is that is making headline, because you know, the most pressing thing in the media, it is stuff that is more talk about, right? So you go online, they read the news, and what they do, they record it sometime via WhatsApp, or they record it on any recording app and stuff like that they have on their device. So they record it, they send it to us. We put it together as a news package. We edit it and whatnot, put it together as a news package. And we put it out there.
And does that air out like once an hour for like the newsreel thing at the top of the hour type of thing?
Okay,
is that
great. Appreciate that question. What we do, since everybody's volunteering at the moment, we try not to press anybody. So what we do, we get the news in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tuesday and Thursday is kind of a bit blank. So let's say 6 a.m. Eastern time on Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Monday. So that news, we have it in automation. All right. So in the automation, that news basically play on Tuesday at 6 a.m., 11 a.m. Eastern, and 5 p.m. Eastern. And on Wednesday morning, while we got the new news product information and stuff like that, we put it out there on the same time schedule. So technically, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Saturday at 11 a.m., we have the para sports, basically focusing on sports of persons who are differently able, like goalball, beat ball, the cycling, tandem cycling, blind cricket, etc. Mm-hmm.
That's excellent. That's really good. So yeah, basically they just report on what the individual finds to be the most important news item. They record it, and then you create a newsreel
Package.
out of that information. That's really, really good for
people.
But
tell you this. You know what is the most exciting thing of it? When you hear the different voice, we ain't only talking about America. We ain't only talking about St. Lucia. We're talking about people from every nook and cranny of the world. It's just like the BBC. For those of you who know the BBC.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Correspondence, right.
Correspondence from every nook and cranny of the world. That makes it so much of a kaleidoscope. So beautiful. Yeah.
Sure. And Aaron's opinion is heard all over the world. So do you ever allow people to broadcast or to produce these news segments in other languages outside of English? Or do you only accept English entries? Some people would probably want to know that.
Okay, awesome. Great question. Well, for the time being, no. For the time being, no. We only focus on the English language, but I'm sure very soon in the near future, since we are literally all across the globe, this is something definitely we're possibly going to focus on, because we're dealing with all sort of people. I mean, different ethnicity, background, culture, language, etc. So without a shadow of a doubt, in the near future, definitely we would need to focus on that.
Yeah. To sort of have like UVC's, UVC French service, UVC Spanish service, that
Oh,
type of
well, not
thing.
cutting you short. This is one of the things that well, matter of fact, we actually had a meeting today. And, this is some of the things that we actually were talking about as well, in terms of like having a UVC branch, because since we have so many people all across the globe, right? We don't only want to focus UVC. UVC is not an American thing. It's not a St. Lucian thing. It's a world thing. It's global. You know what I'm saying? So one of the main facts, and why is this global? Because United Vision Connect. Just listen to the name, United Vision Connect. I mean, it is quite dynamic. It is so diverse. So this is the reason why we trying to reach every nook and cranny from the four corners of the earth and stuff like that. So the main fact, what we want to do very soon as well too. Okay, we got Aaron possibly somewhere in Dubai. We're gonna have a UVC Dubai, a representative. We're gonna have a UVC representative in the United Kingdom. We're gonna have a UVC representative in Canada. We're gonna have a UVC representative somewhere in Germany or the Netherlands. So and this is where exactly we would like to take UVC on a broad spectrum internationally. Now, so we're not only focusing, you know, um, basically for within ourselves, the founders, even though I'm the founder of UVC and stuff like that, I'm not only focusing within our inner circle, because at the end of it, when you have a great project, there's some appointed time come in the nearer future. You may move on to um, something else different in life. Something different may get your attention. So at the end of it, when you decide, or whenever myself or Gary or Marilyn or whenever any one of us decide to make that transition to move on to a new project, we want to feel comfortable that the project that we started from the ground and we build it to make it wherever it is at the moment and it's still growing. You know what I'm saying? We want to put it in the hands of capable individual that can continue the legacy. Because at the end of it, 10, 15 years from now, for me personally, I want to sit back and relax and say, you know what? Hey, 20 years earlier, this is what I've done. You know what I'm saying? This is what I have done. And 20 years later, oh, I can smile. I can say, you know what? This is the fruit of my labor. So yeah, this is what we want to do, man.
I support you. I completely support the idea. I know that I want to help. So
Awesome,
this
man.
is
Awesome.
you have, in my opinion, you have my support.
Appreciate that,
But
brother.
and I mean it. It's
Appreciate that.
absolutely, and really it has, and you know what, and really it has nothing to do with the podcasting or the radio or the correspondence.
Right.
It has to do with the fact that I really love your personality. I really love the way you go about life. I really, your attitude is the attitude that I want to have and really appreciate talking to and really appreciate from. So it's just your attitude
Isn't it?
about life makes me want to support your idea, and it's a really
We
important
definitely
concept.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yes,
So
indeed.
you have content creators from all over the world, but where's
Absolutely.
where's where's your listener base? I mean, here at Aaron's Opinion, we have people from countries I've never been to. So do you have listeners from countries that you've never been to? Where are you finding most of your
Good
listeners?
question, brother. All right, we got our listeners. We have listeners in most of our listeners across the United States. All right. We have listeners in Canada, the United Kingdom, Singapore. We have listeners in Malaysia, Indonesia, Brazil, Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, the Bahamas, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, here in St. Lucia. We got listeners, I mean, just South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Portugal, just name it, man. Denmark, Greece, Germany, the Netherlands, France. Oh my God, too numerous to mention. We have a number of listeners right across the globe, man.
And
Hmm.
one of the most complex things is knowing where to market great content too. So, do you also have a marketing wing? I mean, do you also reach out to people who are knowledgeable about the you know, sharing of content and figuring out exactly where posts should go and things like that? Because that's quite a complicated science, even with the technology.
Oh yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, this is some of the stuff that we actually working on as well too. I mean, to get to get such individual, what is I mean with the stats that I've just given to you and stuff like that. These are persons who will reach out personally. We have our UVC Facebook page. We have our website. We have WhatsApp. We have a WhatsApp number, and persons will message us privately sometime. Again, it will be depends on the broadcaster as well, to right? Because, for example, if John Doe is broadcasted, maybe I may not know John Doe that well, or maybe John Doe program does not really appeal to me. I probably may not listen in. I may not listen. You know what I'm saying? So, so it depends on the content of the broadcaster as well too. And also one of the things we need to look at as well too, the timing as well too is very important, because since we have people in multiple time zones all across the globe, this one could be a very big factor as well too. So um yeah, so these are some of the stuff definitely actually happen. And one of the thing as well too, live content somewhat gravitate more listeners than, say, let's say, a pre-recorded program or just automation.
And I'm not going to let this go. When you said that the content has to appeal to you. What about Aaron's
Mhm.
opinion? Does my content appeal to you?
Well, from what I've listened, to be honest with you, yes, I would not give you a negative rating at all. I mean, from what I heard, I liked it. I mean,
Well,
it is
thank you.
good. It is good. It is good. And and it's always a good thing. You know what I'm saying? When you're supporting someone else who just like yourself. I mean, let's not only focus on the blind, because persons who are confined to a wheelchair, who
Right.
confined to a bed, they're all
Yeah,
people just like you and I. And a lot of time, a lot of us
absolutely.
always focusing, oh, I'm a support a blind brother. But tell you this, man, tell you this, we got other people out there who likewise who need our support. We have
And
people out there who need the push. So let us
and
just
they're
not be
gonna
biased and only
right.
focus on people
No,
like
no,
ourselves.
and
Exactly.
at Aaron's opinion, I certainly don't.
Hmm.
Sighted people. Yeah, sighted people are welcome to guest with me. Sighted people come here all the time. They're always
It's
welcome.
sighted people
Sure.
is always
I had
important,
someone
always
who
integral
is.
as well.
I had someone just a couple weeks ago who is in a wheelchair. So it is important to include everyone. If you include
Everyone.
everyone,
Yep. Yep.
then you're good.
No one
But
no one left behind. That's my own motto. You know what I'm saying? We get on the train, each and every one of us go, each and every one of us gonna get on the train. If 10 of us got to sleep in one room, we're gonna do it like some folks. I'm not gonna call anybody's name out here or anything. Anybody feel discriminated or anything of such. But if we adopt the attitude of life, whereby and stop focusing so much on self. I'm
yeah,
not saying you're not going to focus on yourself, because I'm telling you this, you can't love anything out there if you don't love yourself. First of all, you must have appreciation for yourself. You must have appreciation for life. And as long as you have appreciation for yourself, appreciation for life, you're going to appreciate other people that is in your surrounding and stuff like that. So as long as you have appreciation for life, I'm telling you this, you're going to appreciate anything as long it is positive, as long it's legal, as long it's the right way, you're gonna appreciate anything that people do. A lot of times, what we always sit and do, we always sit and focus on the negative aspect of people. But I'm telling you this: whether blind, whether confined to a wheelchair or bedridden, or sighted, I believe we all have some form of disability. You know what I'm saying? We have a form of that, because I may be sighted. That mean, you know what? I can do every single thing. No,
yeah.
we all are limited towards certain things. And I want to say we all are limited. We only limited towards life, certain things in life, because you know why? A lot of us, 9 times out of 10, we procrastinate so much. We focus so much on what we can do than focus on what we can do. Because if we put ourselves out there, your life start with you, yeah? And as long we empower ourselves and tell ourselves, you know what, the sky is the limit. I can do it. As long we tell ourselves and have the self-confidence and believe deep within, the mind is a very powerful thing. I can be locked up, but tell you this, as long as I start thinking outside of me, outside of the box, and I start seeing myself doing things, you better believe it. As long as you believe, you definitely shall can achieve it.
Absolutely. Once I was speaking to a student in my work as a teacher, and he happens to be a doctor, and we were getting into a big discussion about, my blindness, my heart defect, things like that. And it came up, why is there disability in the world or something like that? And I gave my theories, and then he gave a beautiful answer, an answer that I always remember to
Mhm.
tell people. And his answer was perfect. He said, Aaron, on planet Earth, every single person has ability, and that
And
same person has disability. And we
oh,
need to,
absolutely,
and that is such a good, it's such a good answer for explaining why we have challenges and why we have disability and why we're all
absolutely, isn't it?
differently abled.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. So, yeah, continue.
So of course. And um why don't you tell our listeners how we met, because we actually met a couple years ago, many years ago, back in 2014.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, yes, definitely. I think at that time back in, I think it was in the spring or coming up to the summer of 2014, you actually visited St. Lucia
That's true.
as a volunteer. So you came to the St. Lucia Blind Welfare Association. You were doing some work out there at the St. Lucia Blind Welfare Association and stuff like that. So yeah, that is the first time I actually had an encounter with you and get to know of you and stuff like that. And for the past that was in 2014. This is 2010, 2021. I mean, I remember the individual that came to the organization and stuff like that, but I didn't really remember the name. And it's about 2 weeks ago or so, this guy, Gavin Gopi from Kingston, Jamaica. I think Gavin is the one that forwarded you to me and stuff like that. So this is the way we're actually able to reconnect, which is awesome, isn't it?
And that really illustrates the whole concept of United Vision Connect, uniting the world,
Absolutely.
the sounds that bind us together, right? It's
Absolutely.
having these conversations, one
Got that
conversation in
right.
one country, it connects it to the next one. And it all, next thing you know, you're the whole world is talking to the whole world. It's really, that's why it's amazing and that's why it's fascinating. Definitely.
Well, with UVC, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
man, the globe right now, it is so small. It's like we all a stone throw away from everybody. It's like in the globe right now, it's like we all live in a community away from each other and stuff like that. And you know what? I must say thanks to technology. I think technology on the whole has bring as my good friend said, not technologies, give knowledge. We ain't taking anything from anybody. We ain't taking anything from anybody, give knowledge, you call it. So because of all this stuff like that, the social media and all the different smart stuff and like that, it actually bring us all together. Um, because over the years, especially in the when in the blind community or in the disabled community, everything was just so far fetched. There was not this togetherness. Um, some people in different part of the world were so deprived in terms of technology, in terms of in terms of the simple basic things to enhance the lives of persons who are different. And when I say differently able, I just don't only want to focus on the blind. So I think the best terminology to use is persons who are differently able. And not only persons who are differently able, the quote unquote able body as well. It able to make people understand a little bit more and have a different outlook on persons who are differently able, because all right, you may get a smartphone or even using a computer. You know what I'm saying? People who don't know, they see you using a smartphone and they see you using a computer, they're like, you know what? How you do it? I mean, It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ludicrous. A blind person using a smartphone or a blind person actually using a computer and stuff like that. And with technology and stuff like that, it helps those individual who quote unquote able body or quote unquote have 20/20 vision. It helps them to have a better understanding. Likewise, with technology, there is just so much more persons likewise who are differently able and who are blind. Likewise, not only me as a quote unquote sighted person or able-bodied person is in the driver's seat. Right now we got blind car, we got smart vehicle, but blind people even driving. I call them Stevie Wonder vehicle. It's quite expensive. Well, a good old guy like Stevie possibly can afford that right now. You got vehicles whereby persons who are blind can even drive and stuff like that. So right now, in the current trend of the world right now we're living in right now, no one literally should ever leave behind. No one.
Definitely not. No one should ever be left behind. I completely agree. Yeah, it's going to be really strange once blind people around the world start being able to have cars and driving themselves to locations. That's going to really change the dynamic of things a lot. And
Oh, absolutely.
that's going to
Hmm.
be weird. That's going to be weird, even for me. And I'm 30 years old, so that's going to be weird even for me.
Well, I'm telling you this, man. I mean, well, for me personally, I mean, of course, I had 20/20 vision and stuff like that before I lost my vision somewhere back in 2000, 2004. And, I think this definitely going to be some. Listen to me, man. Every one time I got to sit behind the wheel before I go to the great beyond. If I got to run the risk by doing it, I'm prepared to do that. In life, we need to stop being complacent. Sometimes we need to be very adventurous. Listen, people, I'm not telling anybody to go out there and put yourself in danger. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But again, the mind is a very powerful thing. If you tell yourself you can do it, people, y'all better know that. You definitely can do it. If you believe you can do it, I'll tell you this. It make no sense even trying because it's like this. You're going to fall apart before you even started. So be very careful. Be very in anything that you do. Always be creative. Always be creative. Always see yourself to the highest level.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So when you are not doing all of this great work for UVC, what are some of your hobbies and other interests that I would not expect you to have that you
Oh,
have?
okay. When I'm not, man, to be honest with you, sometime you wish there was more than 24 hours per day. You wish there was more than 24 hours. Man, there's just so much, man. So much, so much. I mean, out of UVC. Um, well, of course, I'm an athlete, of course. I'm involved in sports and stuff like that. But for the benefit of our listeners, in cricket, involved in blind cricket. For those of you who don't know, cricket is very similar to baseball. It's a British sport, quite well known in across the Asian continent and the African continent and the West Indies, which is the Caribbean. Yeah, yeah. Well, from since 2019 with all events, then 2020 COVID, it kind of peg us back and stuff like that. We haven't gone on tour. We haven't done much in terms of the sports aspect of it. Um, spend time with spend time with family. That's another part of it. Traveling is always a big part of my life. I've been around, quite a few places and a few places and stuff like that around the world. Um, sometimes I play a couple of online gaming and stuff like that. That's for like the audio game and stuff like that. Yeah, sometime I'll do that. Most time, um, either I'm reading. I just really really love reading and stuff like that. Yeah, possibly I may read or just you know I have a good time, man. I won't really say there is any sort of dull moment in my life. I mean, per se, I'm a very bubbly person. I'm a very outgoing person. I'm one of them you will call. an extrovert. I just love to meet people, and really interested in stuff like history, um, interested in stuff like politics, culture, language, stuff like that. This is my thing, because you know what? As they have the whole saying, if you don't know where you're coming from, you will definitely don't know where you may end up or where you're being. So always know, always trying to know stuff that was there way before your time. It's always important, because what it does, it broadens your knowledge. It helps you to become a better version of yourself. It helps you to see the way people live and stuff like that around the world. So yeah, this is some of the most main thing. I mean, from time to time, I mean, we'll go to church and stuff like that as well too. So I mean, spirituality is a very big part of my life as well too. Yeah. hmm
So good, so
So
good. Yeah, yeah. How many athletes did St. Lucia send to Tokyo?
well, to be honest with you, I haven't really keep check on that. I guess I've been just so caught up focusing on my job and stuff that we do with UVC and bringing other people together and different stuff like that, and working along with people. I haven't focused. I haven't really thought of it, or have to actually look into it, to be honest with you. But yes, I know there are a couple of athletes from St. Lucia actually out there in Tokyo at the moment.
Excellent. So good, so good. And where have you traveled to outside of Lucia?
Oh, different part of the Caribbean, United States, South America, Canada, etc. hmm
I see. I see. Very very
hmm
good. Really 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 excellent. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, go on.
And do you think you will get back into podcasting yourself? Because you're a really good speaker. You have a great way of talking. I wish you would kind of get back into that podcast, upload your own episodes again.
Well, I tell you this, brother. I appreciate that, even though I don't really see it sometimes. But I mean, sound like I'm contradicting myself when I say a while ago. First of all, you got to believe in yourself. I'm somebody like this. I don't like to give myself too many props sometimes. But hey, as I said, beauty in the eyes of the beholder. So if this is something that you see within me, I appreciate. In continue before I answer that question, from since I'm a kid growing up and stuff like that. Radio is a very, very powerful tool. I was born with 20/20 vision. And, I used to like to watch TV, love to watch movies and all stuff like that. And we talk about sports. And this is what I always used to do. I would watch the television with a basketball and stuff like that. Well, I used to play basketball likewise in school, because before I lost my vision, one of my things, I always say, you know what, man, I want to make it to the NBA, because back in the 1990s and stuff like that, um, well, the Bulls was basically was like, it doesn't matter where in the world you are from, just the same way like in the hemisphere, Brazil is basically like a home team to many and stuff like that. Um, Chicago Bulls was basically like the home team for so many people, especially right across the Caribbean or the South America, Latin. It doesn't really matter. Chicago Bulls was basically like one of the home team. And I used to always tell myself, you know what? I want to make it to make it to play for the NBA. But what basically I'm saying to you right now, I used to turn on the radio, listen to the commentary, and watch the game on the TV. So radio is something I've been really, real big thing in my life. I remember growing up, I used to live with my granddaddy, God bless his soul right now. Um, he used to always buy me these radio or these jukebox back in the old. Oh my God, I say back in the old days. Make me sound so old. I'm just in my 30s right now. But anyway, um, yeah, and I used to listen to the radio, listen to the BBC, listen to the CNN, listen to all of these major news outlets right across the United States and stuff like that. And it really helps me. If you want to say, as you said, you think I'm a good speaker? I appreciate that, brother. But in answering your question right now, um, in the podcasting, mind you, in the podcasting, I haven't done a whole lot in the interviews, a few of them. I haven't done a whole lot of interviews and stuff like the interviewing people. Basically, what I always do, I work behind the scenes. Is it Gary Cameron from North Carolina? He will edit it, or myself, I will edit it, or 99% of the time I do the recording, and I get my other colleague, there's a cookie come down there in Manhattan. She was the one who basically do the interview. So I'm the guy that basically worked behind the scenes. But this is something very soon in terms of getting the podcast back up and running. This is something very, very, very soon we actually gonna get back into very soon.
So good, so good. Because a lot of radio stations create a podcast based off of their content, to give viewers kind of a weekly look, a weekly glance at what's going on. So
Yeah, absolutely, isn't it?
there's a lot of, I mean, just saying, there's a lot of different there's a lot of different creative things that you can do
Oh,
with the
absolutely.
podcast to promote UVC radio and the projects that you guys are working on. There's a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
avenues you could take that. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
so,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
so good. So good. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very, very good. Really, really all extremely, extremely excellent. So I'm sure you have some questions for me. I've been annoying you and pestering you with questions this whole episode. What are some things you really want to dig into and know about Aaron Richmond?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm telling you this, brother. I don't mind being understand because I never shy away from a question. I'm sure you can reckon that right now, yeah?
I can reckon. I can reckon.
I'm sure you can reckon that. I never afraid of the microphone or afraid of the camera. All right. I mean, for you, one of the things I would like to say to you before I ask you any question and stuff like that, I will definitely encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on what you love to do best. And I'm sure this podcast, people are benefiting from this podcast in more ways than one. And as long people are benefiting from this podcast, basically by motivating them and stuff like that, I think I will definitely give you the green light until you keep on going. The sky is the limit and stuff like that.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm not too sure right now. I have
Oh,
any sort of question right
question
now
to
for
really
you
make a
and
question
stuff
to
like that.
really a
No,
question to
I
really
don't
make me
really think that.
sweat. Oh, okay, you can ask a question to really make me sweat to see if I'm worth my salt as a podcaster.
you said ask your question to really ask your question. You want me to turn around and interview you right now? But you understand.
Yeah, really. I can
All
take
right,
it.
that's no problem. That's no problem, brother.
Here we
That's
go. Here we
that's
go.
no problem, man. So yeah, I mean, so why and why you actually get into, I mean, this whole podcasting thing? I mean,
It's a great. I
what do you
love.
see in podcasting? The reason why you actually get into it?
I see two things. It's a great. I love the way you phrased it. I see two things. I see that there is a community of people who are blind or have other abilities or disabilities, or I see a bunch of sighted people around the world that need something positive, educational, and entertaining to listen to. And I love to educate people and entertain people and have meaningful conversations. So I really feel that there is a gap and a huge chasm in the podcast world where a lot of these podcasts, in my opinion, are just not as open as I want them to be. So I want you to know, I want UVC to know, I want the world to know that Aaron's Opinion is the most open podcast on iTunes or YouTube. At least that's my opinion.
Awesome.
And that's
Awesome.
why. And
But I
also,
mean,
I
with the
love
invent
I
right
love
now, I
doing it.
mean, so
Yeah.
many people all across the world is actually getting into podcast. Do you think there is some sort of compete there? I mean, with everybody actually trying to get into podcast right now?
I want to compete with other great content creators because a great product like podcasting should have competition. So I welcome it. I welcome competition from all the countries. I wish there were more people doing what I do, doing what you do. I wish there were more opinions. I don't know. Do you know of any other opinions from other countries? I don't know. You're the one with the radio
Well,
station.
to be honest with you, no, not on the top of my head right now.
That is
But
fine.
I mean, in terms of your podcasting and your interviews and stuff that you have conducted over the past few months or over the years, I mean, what are some of the most interested stuff that you have encountered, and how persons have benefit from your podcast? What is it people are saying to you?
People have said very little, but I notice a funny thing that one interview leads to the next. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate my guests more and more. The guests get better and better and bigger and better and more exciting, and I just keep loving producing episodes for you. So I think that secretly is the impact. I think that uh, oops. Okay, didn't mean to push that. now the, I think there is some sort I think there is a positive impact. We just can't
Mm-hmm.
see it. I think that's the magic of podcasting. I want to tell you it's again, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day as the CEO and founder of UVC Radio, UVC United Vision Connect. That's all the time I have. I like to keep it just around an hour. Thanks so much. And God bless you for all your great work. And you are always welcome on
All
Aaron.
right, definitely.
All right.
Lastly, before we go, we definitely encourage people to please check out our website on www.unitedvisionconnect.org. If there's any positive way, if there's, when you go to our website, if there's anything that you see and it seems meaningful to what we are doing in UVC and United Vision Connect, we will definitely ask you to please make a contribute. If you can make a contribution, the contribution is not towards the founder or anybody that is in the administrative department of UVC. The contribution go towards the people across the globe that is working with UVC, people that need our support, people that need your support. So please, definitely, I would appeal to anybody who are listening out there. Love you guys. Take good care of yourself. Cheers.